Sophia, it is so good to see you.
You too. I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm great. How's Miami?
Oh, I love it. It's home. So I'm already loving it, but it's great.
All right. So, for anyone who doesn't know, you are on this current season of Mira Quién Baila. I can never say it right, but I
That
think I
was
got that out.
beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
job. That was great.
I stumbled my way through when I spoke with Jonathan Oksana. I kept stumbling over Mira.
Yeah. It's a tough. The R's are tough.
The R's, yeah, it was the R that kept on getting me. But I have to imagine for you, this is so exciting to be doing a show in your hometown.
It is. It's so funny too because I moved out straight out of high school. I moved to LA, right? So I didn't really have time to work here or feel out the dance industry here before I moved. So interesting that now 4 years later, 4 years, but whatever. I'm back working here. It's super interesting and it's nice because I get to be home while I'm doing it. So I get to spend time with my family, luckily, and work. So I get the best of both worlds. Nice.
How did the opportunity come about?
So I've actually been asked to do the show, but then it either didn't work out or I couldn't, or it never really worked out. But last year I worked, or the year, I'm so lost with time because of quarantine and COVID. The
We
years
lost
are,
a year. I
yeah,
know.
so it's so confusing. But the year prior to this job, so last year, I worked with Jonathan and Oksana on a little performance they asked me to do with them. That was the first time I really worked with them. So I guess there they kind of felt out who I am a little bit better. So Rodrigo, who is the director, the choreographer director, he reached out to me to see if I was available and wanted to do the job. So yeah, it was kind of that combination of people who were kind of rooting for me. I know that Jonathan and Oksana really rooted for me to have me on the team this year, and I'm super grateful for that. But yeah, just kind of luck and timing and alignment, I think.
Oh, I love that. Now, we were talking a lot when I spoke with Jonathan and Oksana, and I have in the past too with Oksana, just how different this show is. If anyone's expecting it to be Dancing with the Stars, it's very
Right,
different.
nah. Yeah, it is. It is. The main difference being, and I'm sure she spoke about it, but the main difference being we switch celebrities each week. So it's not like Dancing with the Stars where you stay with your partner throughout the season. You get a new one each week, which I think is awesome. I get to dance with different people and I don't know, build relationship with more people, feel out new ways to choreograph, new ways to dance. I think it's a nice little challenge.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, it must be like, because every week you're getting someone who has a different level of dance or a different concept of how to move.
Yes,
So for you, you're thinking, okay, like especially those early weeks where you're really getting to know the contestants. I'm sure
right.
I know you guys just finished week 4, at least you have an idea of how some people move, but those first couple of weeks have to be challenging.
Oh, absolutely. I also think it's really interesting to figure out in those first 3 days, what teaching method works, or what counting method works. Some people like count, some people like words, some people like noises,
Yeah. Ooh, ah, ah, ooh.
exactly, cat, cat, or cha cha, whatever it may be. So it's interesting to see how little differences really work better or worse with different people. And yeah, of course, there's different levels of dancing, but the cool part about this show, or in general, a show like this, is that they're all so invested in it that it makes it easy in a sense, because you kind of you work together to figure out the best way to make them shine. So yeah, it's different, but I do like it. I think that's probably one of my favorite parts about it, like getting to work with different people.
What do you think you're going to walk away from? Because every experience sharpens your skills in different ways. What is Mira Quién Baila doing for you?
Oh, so much. Honestly, I'm so grateful. This whole experience has been so amazing so far. I love it. But one takeaway would probably be the choreographing aspect, I think, because I've choreographed before in the past for jobs or for a performance or whatever it may be for class, but it's never been at this level or exposure. Like this is for television and you have a whole production team behind it, which is also so cool to work with. and that production team is amazing. So yeah, it's different, and I think it's really pushed me and shown me what I'm capable of choreography wise. And yeah, I've learned a new side of choreography for sure. I think that's probably my main takeaway.
Yeah, and always choreographing for camera too, because you know, if you're
Yeah,
doing first stage, it's one thing, but camera, you have to think of other elements. And I know that
yeah.
even Jonathan and Oksana were saying, you know, they're on as supervising choreographers,
Mhm.
and they said, you know, it's been a learning curve for them as well.
Oh, absolutely. I know there's so much to think about that you don't really realize till you're in the moment, you know? Like thinking about the cameras, thinking about also the celebrity, you know, how to make them look good, how to use as simple as how to use the stairs got me every time. I was like, huh, how do we get down and up the stairs this time, you know? And there's definitely these few little challenges, but I think it makes it funner for the choreographer for sure, you know? It gives you some kind of guidance to like work around, you know?
Yeah. And if anyone doesn't know, this show is wildly successful.
Yeah.
I mean, people have watched this for years, but I mean, every single Sunday night, people are tuning in en masse to watch it too, which is incredible.
It is incredible. And like I have my grandparents who actually watch the show, which is super nice. Obviously my family watches the show, but it's nice, especially being from Miami, from Doral. It's a very popular show here. So it's definitely a cool moment for me. And it's been nice. I forget, you know, I'm so like caught up in the choreographies and the day to day of it that I forget that like this is a great show and it's being people are watching every Sunday. Like how cool is that?
You must feel really nice support from the community because it's always nice to come home and be like, hey, I can dance. Remember me?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Or I hear people here like in my hometown talking about the show, or like my dentist who's like my family friend, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're on the show!" Or just everywhere around me here, people know the show. So it's definitely. Or I'm doing my nails, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're on the show! That's so cool!" You know. So it's really interesting to
a
see
lot,
that dynamic here. You know,
a
you
lot of
really,
love. That's nice
yeah,
though. Um,
yeah, for
are
sure.
you going to come back to LA once the show is over?
Yes, I'm gonna go back to LA, definitely. Um, so I'll be back soon, but
Do you have
yeah.
something going on? I was like, do you have something that you can't tell that
No,
might be happening?
I was like, no, but I don't have anything. I don't have any work set up yet, but I'm excited to be back. I know I was just thinking like in my head what was happening. I was like, it's interesting I'm going back. Like things are still so tough and closed in LA, but I am going back.
I will tell you that things are getting better. And I feel
Yeah,
like every couple weeks, you kind of feel like we've moved up another notch in a good direction instead of a bad direction.
right.
So you'll be coming back to something a little bit better than what you left.
Yeah, so I've heard. It's just so interesting because I was here for like all of COVID and quarantine. So I've only really been in LA post COVID for like 2 months total. So it's like I'm more accustomed now to Miami, so now it's like I'm re-moving back, you know, moving back to
Yeah,
the first again.
my family's in the Miami area as well, and I
Yeah,
know that their existence is very different than my existence here in LA. They're like, "You're in Mass just to do a walk outside." I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of where
Well,
we're at."
no, that aspect I do follow here, and I don't really do much here, but just like going back to, I know I'm not going back to like the typical audition life that I knew. You know, everything's a little bit slower or different. Like I'll be back, but probably still doing Zoom auditions and stuff like that. You know,
Yes.
interesting world. We're in a new world.
Yeah, I think I think by fall we'll really be back in a better pace and everything, which
Hopefully,
I think we're all looking forward to, honestly.
yeah, definitely. I think we all are.
Did you miss being in LA, or it was just like it's the pandemic and you know what, it's easier just to settle down with family?
To be honest, I just kind of, a dancer's life, job to job. So I'm just living in this moment for what it is. And it's a bonus that I get to be home with my family. But for the most part, I just kind of take it like the new project I'm working on. And that's what I'm focusing on.
Yep.
So, of course, I always miss LA, but it's not really what I'm thinking about. I'm just focused on this.
The task at hand. I do like your new LA roommate though.
Oh my God, me too. I'm so happy.
Teddy Coffee. I was like, if you're
Yes,
gonna live with someone, he's so creative and so much
yes.
fun and the sweetest guy. And I was like, hey, that is a good person to live with.
Oh, he's the best, and it's as fun as it looks. He's the best roommate, seriously.
So you're telling me everything that I'm seeing on Instagram stories is totally legit.
That's totally legit, and that is exactly what is happening when the camera turns off too.
Well, that makes me really happy. That makes me, I'll be fully vaccinated. I get my second vax tomorrow, this weekend. I'll be fully
Nice.
vaccinated in 2 weeks. So I'm like, I'm going to invite myself over once everyone is like,
Absolutely. I'm hopefully gonna get vaccinated before I leave, so we'll see. But yes.
excellent. I love it. Because I'm like, it looks way too much fun.
Oh yeah, all the game night.
What do you think? I just want to ask, like, because I find it really interesting. A lot of people gave a lot of thought over the pandemic. Like, did the pandemic change your view on what you want to do or your future, or did it make you more committed to dance?
Um, Interesting question. I I definitely think, yeah, it has made people think about career choices, especially in this industry.
Mhm.
Before the pandemic, however, I was already, I think in our interview, I might have said it a while back, but I definitely am into the acting world and trying to get into that as well. And I have been for 2 years now. So I was kind of like splitting my attention already, um, and kind of trying to focus more to the acting. But I love dance. I'm never gonna stop. And I think this pandemic has made me like relearn how to love dance actually in a I don't know, in a raw way, like how I used to love it when I was really little, like just dancing to dance, not dancing for work. And yeah, I don't know. And I feel like since then, I think quarantine has definitely changed how I view dance in general. And I think it has made me confirm that I am in the right industry and that I need to keep going at it. And yeah, I think before the pandemic, I was thinking of switching my energy to just acting,
Mhm.
but now I'm like, why can't I do both? You know?
Yeah, and they only help each other. To be an actor and to understand movement's important, and to be a
Yeah,
dancer to understand how to act out a story through movement, both incredibly
totally,
important. It's funny too.
totally.
A lot of dancers, I thought like a lot of dancers would say, like, I just fell out of love with dance and I just had to step away. But
Hmm.
more people tell me that they fell more in love with it because they had to take a step back from it and they
Yep.
rediscovered the joy of it
Yes.
instead of the work, which you explained. And I think that's
Exactly. And I think it's so cool too because we didn't have studios. Everyone was dancing at home in their backyards outside in nature. It was so different from what we're used to, but it's like the natural way of dancing, just dance to dance. So I think it's kind of beautiful. And I hope more people fell in love with dance like I did.
I agree. I think it's something that, we focus on the negatives of the pandemic, but there's some beauty in all of that too. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's many takeaways from all of this.
yes. Well, I was so excited to see that you were a part of this season, and always thrilled to catch up with you because I think the last time we really caught up, it was in the middle of So You Think You Can Dance season 16
Yes,
audition,
it was.
which feels like a lifetime ago now.
Right. Totally.
Totally. But I'm always happy to see your success, and I look forward to seeing you back here in LA.
Thank you so much. Seriously, it means a lot. And yeah, definitely it's a forever journey. And thank you for asking me and thank you for keeping up. Um, I really love it. I really do. I
I do
appreciate
too.
what you
I love seeing everyone's success. So I'm like, I'm here to root you guys on.
do.
Thanks again, Sophia.
No, thank you, Kristen.